The Daily Maverick is today reporting fresh allegations on the links between the former National Treasury DG, Dondo, Mogajane, and non-profit organization Baphilile Foundation that allegedly received 1 million rands on his behalf to look the other way in the VBS Mutual Bank scandal. The allegations come after convicted former VBS chairman Tshifhiwa Matodzi deposed an affidavit that Mogajane was accompanied at a meeting by the founder of the organization. Tebogo Tshwane is an investigative journalist with AmaBhungane Center for Investigative Journalism. She conducted the investigation into the story. Tebogo, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. You have joined the dots.
Yeah, basically that's what our investigations since Matodzi's affidavit was leaked have been about. The story that we wrote today was just building on the information that we had already just tried to concretize since Matodzi's affidavit was made public. In the affidavit, he, for the first time since VBS had been in the media, mentioned that Mr. Mogajane had received money in relation to VBS. And he mentioned this elaborate meeting that supposedly took place at a cigar lounge in Four Ways Way, at a table where people were whispering back and forth. Mogajane allegedly agreed to receive 1 billion rand in payment from Matodzi in exchange for stalling the implementation of a directive that National Treasury had put to municipalities, just basically informing them that the deposits that they were making into VBS were illegal. And we know that VBS relied on those deposits from municipalities. So this meant that a very key source of its income was now going to be jeopardized. And in the affidavit that Matodzi released, he mentions that the meeting that took place was essentially just to ensure that VBS got at least 18 more months without that directive being implemented, so that they could be able to stay afloat and perhaps be able to save the bank in some other way. And Mr. Mogajane, who had just recently been appointed the DG of National Treasury, was supposedly present at this meeting. So in that first article, what we were able to do is, at least from the records that we had from the forensic investigations related to VBS, we were able to find a payment that Matodzi made at this cigar lounge around the time that he says these meetings took place. And in addition to that, we were also able to find payments that were made through from the banking records that we had to Baphilile Foundation, which is a foundation that supposedly facilitated the payment of this 1 million rand for Dondo. And one of the directors of the foundation was also mentioned as being part of that meeting. And we were then now able to find a link between Dondo and that director of Baphilile Foundation, including another director who's her sister, using through social media posts, as well as through a source that's quite close to the individuals.
Before I let you go, just 2 points to underscore, if I may, which is that the director of this foundation was present at the meeting, the cigar bar meeting, where this deal was allegedly discussed.
Yes. Her name is Dr. Zinzinkize, and her sister's name is Londiwe. And there's a third director as well that we're able to talk to. But in the affidavit, Matodzi mentions that Dr. Mkize was at this meeting. And apparently she was the one who scribbled the banking details for the Baphilile Foundation and handed them over to Matodzi when these discussions around where the money should go and how much should be paid were being made. And so now we are able to confirm that at least Mogajane knows and personally has a personal relationship with this individual, and it just adds more credence to that elaborate meeting, that elaborate story that Matodzi relays in his affidavit about how these discussions took place and how these payments were supposedly made.
It does indeed add circumstantial support to the allegations, but also a point your article is making that between the former DG, Dondo Mogajane, and the director of this organization exists a relationship that goes beyond simply attending a meeting of at the cigar bar.
Yes. And none of the individuals mentioned in Matodzi's statements have actually really dealt with the specifics of the allegations that Matodzi has made. And so it's just provided a lot of room for questions. And as we're able to connect some of these dots and find some of the circumstantial evidence, as well as some of the more firmer evidence in the form of these payments that were made and the banking records from the forensic investigations prior to us even knowing about this meeting. It just it emphasizes the fact that there needs to be more clarity, at least provided by the parties that have been mentioned, about exactly what took place and if there's any truth to what Matodzi has said. I mean, of course, Mr. Mogajane has strongly denied receiving any money from Matodzi, but then there's still these particular details that he did not deal with at all, or even make mention of this meeting that Matodzi said took place at the cigar lounge.
Indeed, as your article mentioned in response to your questions about his relationship with the Mkhize sisters, Mr. Mahajan referred you to a letter that his attorney sent to you about when you guys wrote the first article, and he stands by that public statement. He's adamant he has done nothing wrong. That's why we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.